Tantor Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents Future Leaders of Nowhere by Emily O'Byrne, narrated by Cat Gould. Part 1. Finn. Chapter 1. As the bus veers onto the narrow bitumen road, Finn turns up her music, blocking out the noise so she can take in her new surroundings. Not that there's much to take in. The beige uniformity of the suburbs gave way to green about an hour ago, and the view has been an interminable, rainy sameness since. Wet green paddocks stretch out on either side as far as she can see, and the horizon is a grassy nothingness, dotted with cows or sheep or some other kind of four-legged burger filler. This part wasn't in the brochure. She actually likes nature, but the thought of being trapped this far from anywhere for weeks with no phones or laptops or best friend? Not so much. She wasn't sure about it when she packed her bags, and she's definitely not sure now that she's staring down the barrel of this no-man's land reality. Next to her, Amy grunts and snuffles. Her blue-streaked hair falls over Finn's shoulder. Finn pulls out her phone and sneaks a snap of her open-mouthed slumber. Amy's not going to love it, but Finn might need some leverage to keep her in line. They are two of the 7 kids her school has deemed sufficiently overachieving to cart off to this month-long camp. Trailing them on the highway is a caravan of minibuses packed with other schools' high performers, all strangers. And for the zillionth time since leaving, Finn wishes her best friend, Dan, was with her instead of only Amy, who is fun and hilarious, but hovers closer to long-term buddy/lab partner than friend. But Dan wasn't chosen, a fact he's proud of. In the last half an hour, the hills start to close in, and trees huddle on the shoulder of the road, filtering the light a dull grey-green. Bitumen fades to gravel, and they enter bona fide bush. Finn presses her face to the cold glass. Even in here, with the claustrophobic stink of stale sandwiches, worn upholstery, and too many kids in one space pressed up close, she can imagine the smell of wet dirt and the peppery eucalyptus. At least there's that to look forward to. And, of course, there's the break from the ugly chafe of things she'd prefer to ignore, like bad life choices, like the constant tension at home. Her parents couldn't get her out the door fast enough. She hopes they fight long and loud and get it all out of their systems. Maybe then the hard ball of guilt in Finn's stomach will finally dissolve. She doubts it, though. You can't leave your conscience behind, can you? She yanks her headphones from her ears as the bus turns through a set of wooden gates, and the words "Live, Learn, Lead" shake their finger at her from a wooden arch. She plucks at Amy's sleeve. "Hey, we're here." Chapter 2. The first speaker wears a crisp navy suit. It screeches wank against the cracked linoleum and institutional green chic of the dining hall. It's as cold and damp in here as it is outside, and it smells like 1,000 meaty meals cooked. Finn wonders if she should finally make that jump to vegetarianism while she's here. The suit monologues like he's having some kind of corporate TED talk, and Finn takes the moment to finally get a look at her group. What a bunch of randoms they are. She doesn't know much about them besides names. It's been her job as intermediate school captain to know people's names. There's Amy, then there's Craig, as wide as he is tall. She sits next to him in maths sometimes, total numbers whiz, and a giant smart-ass, the good kind. He's the kind of guy who makes even the tough guys not afraid to laugh, the kind even teachers like. But she can only put vague social statuses and academic specialties to the other 4, and she can't even do some stealth social media research. Another downside to this weird social experiment of a camp. Restricted technology. She's going in blind. The suit talking at them is some kind of CEO who dabbles in politics. His company is one of the big guns Finn's dad always writes about, whose factories in some second or third world country are still pouring toxic crap into the atmosphere while he tries to jump on board the climate change train. Right now he's ranting about how occasions like this camp are just tests for tomorrow, how kids need to challenge themselves and to think outside the box. It's all kinds of self-help, life coaching, psychobabble. Like they all need a lesson in stating the obvious. "Anyway, I wish you luck," he says. "Tomorrow the particular challenges you face will be laid out for you, and it's going to be exciting. Think of it as the most challenging role-play game you've ever experienced in your life." Finn's played precisely none, so that should be easy. It will test your ability to work together, to think laterally and deeply, and to apply real-world situations to your fictional one, the man says, in this hushed but excited tone, as if he's trying to chip away at the patent lack of enthusiasm his speech has invoked. "I know exactly how to survive," Craig mutters next to her, "by not doing this Lord of the Flies crap." Finn smothers a laugh as Mr. Pinstripe winds up his speech. His beatific smile invites them to take a moment with his wisdom, but all he gets is a dismissive scattering of applause. The moment he retreats, the camp director, Gus, a bepladded hipster with requisite beard and man bun, bounces out of his seat. He looks right out of place here in the middle of nowhere. She'd bet good money that he ducks back to Melbourne for an appointment with the barber and a local microbrew every chance he gets. "Okay," he says. "Tomorrow we introduce you to the project and to your future digs. But first, you need to pick your team leaders. We don't care who you choose or how you choose. No violence, please, though. But you must have your leaders selected and ready for tomorrow when you'll receive your assignments." His grin turns slightly evil. "And just to make the job of selecting one a little quicker, nobody eats until you've decided." A groan echoes around the hall. Finn can't smother a sigh either. It's been a long time since the hurried honey toast in the car this morning. "Okay, so Finn's our leader?" Amy says it like it's a no-brainer. Craig nods. "Yeah, do it, Harlow. School captain default." Finn stares at them. They're all supposed to be future leaders. Shouldn't they all want the job? "Shouldn't we vote?" "We already voted you intermediate school captain, didn't we?" Amy raises an eyebrow. "What? You need more validation?" Finn shoots her a look, but Amy ignores it. "You know you want to do it." Trust Amy to throw her under the bus. She once tried to pin an incident involving Ivan Kale, revenge, and a Bunsen burner on her in Year 9. "I didn't vote Finn for captain." Heads turn. It's Brian something or other, all lank and basketball shoe. He folds his arms over his chest. "I wanted Steve Dawson." "Well, lucky for us nobody else wanted that stooge," Craig says. "And that girl brains beat your sorry jock boy patriarchy for once. That boy's scraping the bottom of the brain cell barrel." Finn holds up her hand. "Hey, no fighting. I'm totally happy for someone else to be leader." A guy called Jesse leans forward and shoots her a grin. "See, now you have to do it. No one else is going to tell us not to fight." Finn has no idea whether he's mocking her or not. "And you're good at this stuff," a girl called Hannah adds. Brian frowns. "But why does she get to—" "Tell me, do you want to throw your hand in, or do you just want to complain?" Jessie asks. "Because we can vote on this if you want. You against Finn." He says it like it's a threat, like everyone already knows Brian has no hope of winning. "I don't want to be leader," Brian mutters. "I don't even want to be here." Finn's starting to wonder if any of them want to. "Then what's your problem if Finn's in charge? No one else wants to do it." He turns to the others. Do they? They all sit back like someone lit a fire in the middle of the table. There's a long, pointed silence. Finn shakes her head. "Wow. Just wow. I just want to throw out there that I don't remember saying I wanted to do it either." No one pays any attention. Okay, people, enough crap. I'm starving. Amy sits up. Hands up if you're happy for Finn to lead. Everyone's hand goes up, even Brian's eventually. It still stuns Finn when people choose her for things. Dan says it's because she's the good kind of bossy, because she makes decisions and gets things done without being a total dictator. He says she's figured out this adult thing way before everyone else. Finn definitely doesn't feel like that. Not lately. And this job? Does she even want this job? In charge of whatever this high school edition of Survivor she's landed herself in? So, do I get a say in whether I do it? Nope, you do not, Amy says, because now we get to eat. Jessie gives her another small lip curl of a smile. She wonders what he's here for. Lit or philosophy is her guess. He looks nerdy, but kind of indie, too, with his skinny jeans and floppy hair. Around them, some groups are exploding into raucous rounds of laughter, slapping tabletops. Another group's sitting in total glum silence, as if they've had enough of each other already. They are going to have a fun month. She spies Mr. Manopoulos, their teacher representative, on the other side of the room, dwarfed by the regular-sized teachers around him. Everyone at school calls him the Hulk because he's tiny and skinny and looks like he hasn't eaten in a year. Gus drums loudly on a table. Okay, can the leader of each group please stand up? Why does Finn get the feeling she's going to live to regret this? He makes a show of appraising them, arms across his chest. Out of interest, hands up any of you who put themselves forward for leader. Only 2 people raise their hands. One's a solid guy with thick, dark curls. He's got this slight smirk, and she can't tell if it's his mood right now or a case of resting smug face. The second is the only other girl besides Finn who's standing, pretty and intense, with an impeccable dark ponytail and a sharp, scrutinising stare. So, why did you volunteer? Gus asks her. Because no one else was willing? Finn smiles. At least she's not the only one with woefully lazy teammates. Self-sacrifice, I see. Gus points at the guy. You? The cocky one with the curls grins. Power. I like it. What a dick, Amy mutters. Finn can always count on Amy to say what everyone's thinking. Personally, Finn usually likes to cut people slack until she knows them, but his response definitely lurched toward the red end of the douche meter. An opportunist. Interesting. Gus opens his arms wide. Now tell me, chosen ones, what kind of leader do you plan on being? Because I know everyone loves getting this kind of question at short notice. He chuckles at his own joke and points at a lanky guy at the table next to Finn's. You? The kid turns red. A good one? Well, for your group's sake, I hope so. People laugh, and Finn feels a rush of pity for the kid. Gus turns his pointed finger at Finn. You, with the blonde bob, what about you? Scrambling, Finn channels her school captain speech. I guess I'll just try my best to represent everyone and their needs. Good luck with that, Gus jokes. First rule of politics, you can't please everyone. He turns away, and the smirking guy smirks harder. Why the hell did she agree to this? Oh, wait, that's right, she didn't. Finn shoots her group a dirty look, but no one's looking. Gus is pointing at the other girl now. You, what kind of leader do you plan to be? The girl raises her chin a little. That depends. On? On the task, she says simply. Until I know what we're doing, how can I know how I'm going to lead? The guy looks impressed. Adaptive. I like it. That was the smart answer. Finn looks at her, curious, but the girl's expression doesn't shift from neutral as she sits down at a table full of girls. Okay, one last task before dinner. Craig moans. What? To starve us into submission? The leaders need to pick a deputy. Now, the other members of the group have no say in this at all. The leader chooses. Choose wisely, though, because this person will step in for you in the unlikely case of injury or illness, and they will also take over in the event of a no-confidence vote. He rubs his hands together. Spicy, huh? Amy shakes her head. This guy is way too into whatever this is. Does anyone else feel like we're in some weird social experiment? Jessie asks. Yeah, we're probably the guinea pigs for his sociology PhD or something, Hannah says. Look out for hidden cameras. When Finn sits down, Amy's already firing up her best threatening look. If you choose me, I will kill you. I mean it. I will wait until you least expect it, and I will exact revenge. Think of those tools in our dissection kits at school. Think how sharp— Dude, stop. I'm not going to choose you. Amy pouts. Well, now I'm a little hurt. Finn rolls her eyes. Joke, as if. I'm eternally grateful. Now choose someone. I'm dying of starvation here. Everyone is pointedly not looking at Finn. The only person who meets her eye is Jessie, but he shakes his head. Please, she mouths at him. Finally, he gives her a grudging nod. Jessie's deputy. She mouths a grateful thank you at him. He gives her an of course smile. She's going to like this guy, she can tell. Great, let's eat, Brian grumbles. Why do I get the feeling that wasn't a choice based entirely on his potential leadership qualities? Amy mutters. Shut up. Chapter 3. The hardest part in the morning is remembering where she is. Then it all comes back. A cabin in the middle of nowhere. Fun. Finn huddles in the synthetic embrace of her sleeping bag, going about the gradual business of waking up, or, as her mother would say, avoiding the day. It must be early, because no one is stirring, inside or out. At home, there'd be cars idling and neighbours slamming doors, and the rumble of the 91 a block away on High Street. Instead, there's only a small, unruly chorus of mutters and shuffles. She blinks at the slats of the bunk above, where Amy is probably still sleeping like a sane person, and checks her watch. They've still got half an hour, but it's too late. The sleep window has closed. Outside, the world is radiant. Sunshine ploughs through the trees, sending speckled light over the ugly brick cabin blocks. A complete, stark contrast from the gloom of yesterday. The air is brittle, though, and she zips her coat to her chin before skipping quietly down the wooden steps. The only sounds in this sun-struck world are urgent, melodic magpie song and the rush of wind through the trees. She could get used to this. A series of cabins just like her own wind past before the path comes to an end at a small stretch of grass, surrounded by a stand of wizened peppercorn trees and a picnic area. She turns, and a new path meanders for a while. It borders some scrubby bushes and then stops at a fence overlooking another huge stretch of grass. A sports field. She clambers onto the fence, jams her hands into her pockets, and enjoys the bliss that is sunlight on her face. On the other side of the field are more cabins, fibro and decrepit. They are sadder than the ones on this side. Nearby, though, is an austere, double-storied brick house with a stretch of veranda running around both the top and bottom floors. She wonders who it belongs to. On the other side, the world slants downward to where a clump of willow trees lean, sweeping the grass with their branches. There must be water down there somewhere. It's hard to believe this will be her world for a month. 4 whole weeks. Why, good morning, fearless leader. She blinks into the brightness. It's Jessie, sweat stains blooming from his underarms to the hem of his T-shirt. Hello, reluctant deputy. I didn't pick you for a runner. He stretches his leg against the bottom of the fence. Ah, but you were thinking about me. That's good news. Flirting? This early? Seriously? She shakes her head. Don't flatter yourself. He vaults up onto the fence. So, if you didn't pick me for a runner, what did you pick me for? Wow, you really like to talk about you, don't you? He just smiles. So, let me guess. You picked me for maths genius because of the Asian? No, I pegged you for lit, philosophy, that kind of thing. A bit of Dostoevsky and Bukowski, maybe some Nietzsche thrown in. Well-thumbed copy of On the Road, maybe? That's rough. And while I do enjoy the oeuvres of all these authors you've pinned on me, I'm actually a total history kid, which is why I'm at Geek Boot Camp. Close enough. So, what do you think this game is going to be like? Not a clue, he says. Me either. They feast on the sun while the cold air makes clouds of their breath. She fights the urge to look at him, to take stock of him properly, because she's scared he'll take it the wrong way. Or maybe the right way. Actually, I think that might be your literature buff over there, he points. It's the leader girl, strolling across the oval, a book clutched in her hand. She kind of ran circles around you all last night, he says. Yeah, but with those legs, it wouldn't be hard. He stares across the field. I was kind of put on the spot. So was she. Hey, whose side are you on? Go see if Miss Legs wants you on her team if you like. He just grins. Unruffled seems to be his setting. Don't be like that. You chose me for your deputy, remember? Only because you were the only one dumb enough to make eye contact. True. He swats at a persistent fly. But I'm your full deputy, and I happen to be stupidly loyal, so you're stuck with me now. Besides, between us, we've got pretty great pins. She kicks out her short legs. I'll give you one thing, you really are a fool. Not many guys could pull off this kind of flirt banter without being highly annoying. It helps that she can tell he doesn't believe any of the things he's saying either. Told you. He launches himself off the fence and lands lightly on the grass. I better get back before one of my bunkies finds my after-run food stash. And find a shower too. You smell like a wildebeest. Yeah. See you later, boss lady. He turns and strides away, whistling softly. Finn should go too, but she doesn't want to leave this pocket of peace and sunshine just yet, or face this day full of unknowns. So instead, she locks her eyes on the one thing moving on her horizon. The girl's arms swing gently at her sides as she walks, and when she reaches the dead centre of the field, she stops and tips her face to the sun, caught up in some sort of ultraviolet reverie, before she drops to the ground with her book. She looks so light and content, a world away from the stiff-backed girl of last night. Finn wishes she felt like that, instead of jagged and misplaced, the same way she's felt for weeks. This is not her life. Finn's used to walking through her world like she's in a play that she wrote the lines for, one where she's worked hard to make sure she's always ready to deliver. Not anymore. She wishes she could call Dan, so she could wallow in some familiarity for a minute, but mobile phones were handed over last night, and they're only allowed to use the public phones and the internet in designated communication times. Even with all the tension, she'd settle for the comfort of home. Right now, Dad will be waiting for the coffee machine to warm up, hunched over the paper at the end of the kitchen bench that catches the most morning light. He usually narrates every single thing he reads in the paper while Finn makes her lunch. Her teachers are always impressed by how well she is across current affairs. They don't know that she has no choice. Behind her, voices start to call out into the morning, and her sunny world is slowly invaded. She watches the girl climb to her feet and walk towards her, as if she, too, has sensed the moment's over. Curious, Finn waits for her to get closer before she climbs down from her perch. The girl frowns as she walks, like she's thinking hard. Her runners are pristine, and her ponytail as perfect as last night. She gives Finn a fraction of a smile as she passes, a glance long enough for Finn to notice her eyes are a light amber, bright against the darkness of her skin. Finn returns the smile a second too late, and she's gone. Chapter 4. It must be Finn's lucky day. Her first partner for speed acquaintance-making is the cocky guy who said he liked power. He slouches opposite her, his face in full smirk mode. She makes an effort, though. "Hey, I'm Finn." "Weird name." He stares around the room like there are 10,000 things more interesting than her. Nope, proven douche. She no longer curbs the sass. "In my experience, in polite society, names are usually exchanged. I mean, I'd hate to put you out or anything. It must be hard to converse while honing this effortlessly casual thing you've got going on." His gaze slides back to her. She smiles sweetly. "It's just, I know you boys find multitasking a bit tricky." The corner of his lips turn up as his eyes narrow, dancing a line between bitter and amused. Before he can reply, Gus yells from his makeshift table podium, "Okay, first pairs, it's time." He rings a bell above his head. "Get to your questions." The volume in the room triples as Finn scans the list. "Okay, favourite subject at school?" "None." "You must be good at something to get in here." "I didn't say I'm not good at anything. I just said I don't like anything." His gaze roams the room again. The modern education system is a waste of time. Right, of course. She rolls her eyes and scans the list. "If you could live anywhere in the world, where would you live?" "A giant loft in New York." "Favourite film genre?" "Anything with zombies. I dig realism." The bell rings for them to swap. He leans forward and plucks the paper out of her hand. "Okay, my turn." She braces herself for the worst, or worse, for the obvious. "So, got a boyfriend, Finn?" And there it is. Somehow I don't think that's on the list. Do share, though. She just stares at him, wondering how to play him. Or is it a girlfriend? He looks incredibly pleased with himself. "I have neither, actually. Now ask me a question from the list." "It makes sense, I guess." He reclines in his seat, considering her. "You do seem kind of uptight to be getting any." She sets her face at pleasant neutral and waits for the next question. Finally, he gives up. "Do you believe in a higher power?" he reads in a dull voice. "But I don't even know your name," she says, all innocence, "and I'm way too uptight to talk about something as deep as my beliefs without knowing someone's name." "Why do you want to know my name so bad? So you can scratch it into a tree under yours?" "I want it so I can warn the other girls about you." She leans forward and smiles sweetly again. "All the boys, of course." He opens his mouth, but the bell clangs loudly, stopping him. She gives him a smile and a wave. "Bye now." He slouches off to his next victim. Next is a girl from her team. It's probably the first time she's ever spoken to Zachy without Zachy's best friend Hannah there too. In fact, she's never seen them apart. Around school, they're known as this totally inseparable, comically opposing duo. Zachy is small and buzzy, with wide brown eyes and the voice and body of a little girl. Hannah is all curves and round cheeks, with this mumsy middle-aged thing going on. She's one of those girls who's talked like an adult since she was 10 and moves around like she's always on a mission to go tell someone something important. They look nothing alike, but they think and do everything together. They wear matching friendship bracelets, eyeshadow, and hijabs every single day, and in the 5 minutes Zachy talks a mile a minute at her, Finn also learns that they volunteer at a cat shelter and worship Taylor Swift non-ironically together. A BFF match made in heaven. When the bell rings, Zachy smiles through her braces at her. "Hannah and I both voted for you for school captain. You always seem like you're nice to everyone. I know it's not cool to be nice, but..." She shrugs. Finn just blinks at her for a moment. This girl is all kinds of sweet. "Thank you," she stutters. She's still blushing when the girl leader sits down in front of her. Her smile is tight, guarded. "Hi, I'm Willa." "Hey, I'm Finn." She smiles, but the moment feels loaded somehow. Then she remembers that they're opponents. Of course it's weird. They sit there, appraising each other as they wait. Finn's distant reading of her last night proves to be just as true up close. Willa's lovely, but in...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?